How you doing? How you doing? What's going on, guys? This is Randomly Rare Discussions, episode 3, and we're just going to talk real quick about how I ended up having sexual relations with my high school teacher while I was in high school. I was actually 17 at the time, so I think that's technically statutory rape in New York. But, yeah, it was a weird experience. Do I feel traumatized by it? Honestly, a little bit. I'll be honest. A little bit. But, I mean, that's just life. Things traumatize you, and you just gotta really deal with it. Some things really do cripple people more than others. But why am I talking about this depressing shit? Let's just go into the commentary. So, I went to a Catholic high school, and we had to get a certain amount of service hours in order to graduate. So I happened to get linked up with this teacher, the art teacher. We'll call her Miss K for now. I got linked up with her to do charity work, and one of these specific days that I helped her with this charity work, 2 people from the school didn't show up, so it was just me and Miss K. So as the day went on, it was about a 6-hour day, 7-hour day, so we talked for a long time. She ended up giving me her number just in case I wouldn't be able to make it one of those days that I said I was going to be there. So I thought nothing of it. I thought, alright, she gave me her number, but this is primarily for the use of this charity work. This is not for some sort of social gathering where I could, invite her to hang out. That's just what I'm thinking. So fast forward another 3 or 4 weeks, and I texted her. I was with my friends, I was smoking, and I texted her, and I said, hey, what are you doing? And my friends were egging me on the whole entire time. Maybe the only reason I did do it is because they were egging me on to do it, and I just wanted to, I wanted to see what would happen, really. So I guess subconsciously I just wanted them to egg me on in order for me to do it, so I had an excuse. And not a minute later, I get a text message back, and it says, hey, I'm at the movies with my brother, I'll talk to you later. And I was like, oh, fuck, I fucked up, I'm gonna get kicked out of high school. So I have my friends drop me off, I go home, and I think nothing of it. Or I think a lot of things of it. I think way too much of it, and I'm like, oh my God, does this mean she's gonna say something to the school? Am I gonna get kicked out? I shouldn't have texted her. And after 2 hours of going crazy in my room, trying to figure out what the fuck was gonna happen, I get another text message. It's from Miss K, and it says, you wanna go to a bar? And I was like, what the fuck, are you kidding me? I was like, yeah, we'll go to a fucking bar, So I fucking get out of my sulking in my bed or whatever I was doing, take a shower, go out, hang out. We had a great time at the bar, got mad drunk, and we were just generally having a good time. I was a 17-year-old hanging out with my teacher at a bar, drinking with her friends. I thought I was having a great time, No physical touching, no kissing yet, just pure flirting and all that stuff. And by the way, she was driving drunk with me in the car all the time. What the fuck? I was a weird kid, man. I was a weird fucking kid. Anyways, fast forward another few weeks of us hanging out every once in a while, and it's New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve was my big time to seal the deal with this whole hooking up thing. I needed to kiss her on that night because this way, if I kissed her and she didn't want it, if she gets, offended by it, I could just say, oh, it was New Year's, I was drunk, So that was my whole big plan. That was my way to, to really cross over the line from, school relationship to friend relationship to fucking relationship, So New Year's Eve rolls around, we're hanging out at the bar again with our friends. When I'm responsible, very unresponsible person, this person is. But it's New Year's Eve, ball's about to drop. I made sure I was right by her, and we ended up making out. And that was how it all started. And actually, later in the night, after the ball drop, we went to go eat at a diner, and she ate so much food, it fucking grossed me the fuck out. I was so skeeved out by her. But, that skeeviness kind of, after 2 weeks after the ball drop, after New Year's, that skeeviness kind of died down in my brain, and I started thinking about her sexually again, So I ended up hanging out with her because her parents went away. They went away somewhere for whatever reason, and she had the house to herself. So she's early 30s, living with her parents. And hey, I get it. People have economic problems, But it was just funny because the teacher's parents were leaving, and that's how I was going to be able to seal the deal with her, because her parents were gone. So I go to her house on this particular night, and we ended up watching Wedding Crashers, and you know, we were kissing a little bit here and there, but nothing crazy. But she kept hinting at, you know, wanting to have sex. And it was kind of weird, but I kind of like it in a way. It was very taboo, but it was also like, I don't know, it was just weird and kind of skeevy in a way. But I didn't really care that much. So as the titties came out in in Wedding Crashers, I don't know if you guys remember that, on the bed scene, the girls are like flying back onto the bed naked. And once that scene was happening, I was like super like horned up, you know, I was like super in the mood, and we were having, it was pretty good for what it was, but it was just a matter of the fact that, you know, she was kind of this not so great looking person, and, you know, I wasn't really having the greatest time of my life, you know. I think I actually faked a phone call from my iPhone. I faked the phone call. It said my house was calling me, and I said that I had to go home because I needed to pick something up. And that was how I got out of that first situation. But yeah, that was the first time that we actually had sex. And then, you know, I kind of was like, nah, you know, I don't want to do that again. But then I wanted it more. It was almost like a drug in a way. I would call her, you know, on the weekends, and then I would pick her up. We would just do whatever in the car, and then I would drop her off again. It was weird, but it was like I would just pick her up, have sex, and then drop her off again. So like it became a routine for me, like at least every few days, instead of jerking off, you know, I would go and have sex with this teacher. Now how cool is that? Every time you wanted to jerk off to a video you might be watching of a, you know, teacher banging a student, I was going to this teacher's crib, picking her up in the car, you know, and basically dominating her existence, you know. And it was funny because towards the end I was actually cheating on my new girlfriend with this teacher, and it's kind of fucked up to say, but it was just, I don't know, it was great. It was a great time, and, you know, it also was a weird time though, you know. It also left a little bit of a mark on me, you know. When I think about that Miss K, I think, holy shit, like, you know, some illegal shit went down, you know, and I was kind of the root of the cause, but you know what, I had a good time doing it, so it's whatever. But anyways, that's the story. And a little epilogue, which I think epilogue goes in the back. Hopefully it goes in the back, but a little epilogue to the story. I did meet up with her pretty recently, and we ended up not doing anything, but, you know, we have a good relationship, so everything's cool. And I'm sure you're never gonna figure out who it is, but if you do, you know, try not to say anything about it in the comments, you know, just leave it alone, because I wouldn't want to get her in trouble, you know what I'm saying. But I hope you guys enjoyed the story.